Okay, so welcome to our latest edition of Monthly Marketing Munchies, and I'm glad to have you with us today. In this session, we're going to explore one of the foundational steps for successful marketing today. And really, it's a foundational step for successful business in general. And I'm surprised at how little this is done. My intention in this session is to make it clear for you why it's so important. We're going to cover it in a pretty simple way. First, we're going to look at what your juicy core customers are, why they're so important with some examples, and a framework to help you identify who yours are. Then, of course, what to do with that information once you've got it. Before we dive in, I believe that sustainable impact can only be had when an enterprise offers a product or service that's great, good quality, that people want it or need it, and they're prepared to pay a healthy price for it. Because for sustained impact, you need to do something good, something positive to change the world, and generate healthy profits. Otherwise, you're not going to be around for long to do it. So I'm going to be speaking to business in that point through this session. Now, a quick bit of housekeeping. These monthly marketing Munchies are an initiative that we run for free. The idea is that we take a module from our program and explore it with you here in 20 minutes and then answer any questions that might arise. If there are questions, we'll stick around for that. If they're not, we'll wrap it up quickly and let you get back to what you're doing. So I want to start with a little bit of a reverse story here to get you thinking. I want you to see how many of these stories that you can bring up that go a little bit like this. So an opportunity springs up for you. It's nice and shiny, kind of like this diamond, but it doesn't feel quite right. But the dollars, the potential upside, look really glittery and good. They look huge. So maybe your values have to bend a little bit for you to take this on, or perhaps you and your team really get stretched to make the project work. The results that you get are okay, but they're not amazing. And the client, they're kind of ungrateful and they drag out the payment. So it doesn't lead to more of that kind of work, and really you've barely even broken even if you have at all. I know it's a bit extreme, but how many of these can you think of? I know this story. I've had it a few times over the 20 years I've been doing this. And it's because this type of customer is not a juicy core customer. So what is a juicy core customer? Now, for most businesses, there are customers who buy your most profitable product or service repeatedly over a long period of time. And they're a pleasure to do business with. These are your juicy core customer because, like ripe fruit, they hold the sweetest juice for you and your team. Let's explore them a little deeper. So it is human nature for people to want to connect to a brand with a purpose or an impact model or values that they align with, or that they aspire to have, or that they already share. When they do find such a brand, they connect on a deeper level right there. It's an emotional connection. And that allows businesses to escape the competition. It puts blinkers on. That's ultimately where I want you to be playing with your brand. So I'm painting a bigger picture here, and hopefully you'll get where we're going with it. So let's start with some reasons why you want to know who your juicy core customers are. Firstly, your juicy core customers are more profitable because they buy more often and they pay what you ask happily. And they stick around. You don't have that constant battle of constantly replacing them, unless that's the nature of your business, of course. So there is less money that's required to acquire new business. And the new clients that you do get mean compounded growth, and that's a beautiful thing. Then you get more fulfillment, more enjoyment from your work, because you have appreciative clients who express their gratitude and they pay the price that you're asking happily. And you get increased impact. Because when your customers join as co-creators of impact, They love to spend more with you because they know they're doing good. And they become storytellers or brand advocates for your brand. So people become more aware of what you're doing. I talked about people wanting to connect with brands. This kind of emotional connection separates you from the competition who are battling it out over price as if it's a commodity. You don't want to play that game. You escape that, you get to command your own price. And finally, your juicy core customers are your raving fans. And for all of those reasons we just covered and more, they proudly tell everyone about you, bringing more of the same kind of aligned people into the fold, which means more raving fans for you. I want you to stop for a moment, take a bit of a breath and picture your business with nothing but juicy core customers. How amazing would that be? How sweet would it be? Absolute pleasure. That's what I want for you. And that's what we're trying to get at here. Get that vision and make it real. Okay, so let's get clear on who they aren't. If we go back to that story, that diamond shiny thing, many businesses have customers who are far less profitable or they actually cost you money. Now, this could be the result of a costly acquisition. We're talking about marketing and advertising. If you know the true cost of acquisition, that can actually be quite shocking. Could be one-time purchases, buying products or services that are your least profitable, or they're a stretch for you and your team, or they cost you more money to deliver on or to implement or to support. There's many reasons why they're not profitable. Perhaps they're just simply not aligned with your brand, with your values, so they're painful and just feel wrong. Tell me, can you identify any customers right now within your business who fit this? If you're just starting out, can you see why you'd want to do everything you can to avoid collecting these not juicy core customers and focus on building a client base just of juicy core customers? I hope so. So let's look at why it's critical to know this. I'm hoping that Imagine sessions a moment ago, you were able to see how your business could look when you focus just on your juicy core customers. It's an amazing thing. But let's look at it from a marketing lens or a brand story perspective. It's important to understand who these people are because in essence, once you define them, you have a foundation to work from for the bulk of your marketing messaging in order for you to get more of them because that's what you want, just this kind of client, right? Are you with me? Okay, so understanding them helps you get clear on your core story. Now, your core story is the brand story that's being told through your website and your general marketing collateral. It's that underlying story, the underpinning message. Now, you're telling one right now, whether deliberate or not. You may be leaving it to your market to try and interpret what you're saying to do it, and that could be quite a messy thing. But that's another story. The core story that you're putting forward needs to resonate exclusively for this juicy core customer base if you want more of them. Generalities miss out. You need to say it directly and appealing to them. You need to be unapologetically exclusive to them. We're going to get into that in a moment. So getting your core story sorted with this audience in mind gives you laser focus for all of your general marketing messaging, all of your brand collateral, your whole strategy. It's a solid foundation for you so you can have clarity on what to say and when. Now we're going to get to the good part, the model for defining these people or defining this group. I started with the statement that you need what you need for sustained impact, which is profit and positive impact. So the model that we're going to use to define your juicy core customers is a blend of both profit alignment with your alignment with your purpose, your impact model, and your values. So this will require you to be willing to upset the majority of your market. And I'm going to explain how that works in a moment with some examples to make it clear. This model that we're going to go through works great when you have momentum. Specifically, you've got a history of customers to analyze. Without history, you're going to have to do some theorizing and then testing and collecting of data and then come back and review it. The main point, if you haven't got that data yet, if you're just setting out, is that you need to really talk to the people that you're expecting to buy. Don't make any assumptions. Listen and learn how they actually buy your product or service. Then put a product to them and see if they buy. It's fine to say they will, but they need to show it with, show me the money, right? So then you adjust based on the data you collect. But understanding this stuff as a baseline is really going to be helpful for you. So stick with me through this model. I'm recommending a few books for you to, if you want to deepen your understanding for identifying the profit pool, which is part of what we're going through now. And there are 3 books: Uncommon Service by Frey and Morris, How Companies Win by Cash and Calhoun, and The Inside Advantage by Bloom and Conti. The main point that you can take from this, so you don't have to read them, but if you do, they're there, is that you really have to identify your niche and be willing to upset the majority of the market. And the question can be quite different on how you do that. So in How Companies Win, Cash and Calhoun suggests that within any industry, there's a niche that represents no more than 10% of the total customer base, but that 10% holds a disproportionate percentage of the profits. So look, while identifying the profit pool is half the deal, we are going to focus on alignment, which is the other important aspect. It is, this 10% can get you stuck because you think, that's so small. How can we change the world only appealing to 10% of the market? Well, have no fear. The next thing I'm going to show you will prove that point with 2 behemoths you may not expect. I didn't. The first is Apple. In this chart, it shows that Apple has 12.1% of global market share of handset sales, which is totally not what most people expect. And really, it's just a tiny fraction, it's going over that 10% that Cash and Calhoun suggests for a particular market. Yet this tiny fraction accounts for 87% of the available profits in that industry. 87%, 12.1, 87%. So they've got the majority of that profit pool for mobile handset sales. It's a prime example of the profit pool. Interestingly, while Samsung sold almost double the amount of handsets, they've only been able to claim 10% of the available profits. What a divide, right? From first to second, it's not even close. And what's their difference? Well, closed architecture and great design. Well, used to be great design. It's arguable now that Steve Jobs has departed. Now, while this isn't the freshest report, it's not. It still illustrates that Apple does Apple, and it does it well, unapologetically. And they own the profit pool. They own nearly 90% of it. So there's no haggling over the price of an iPhone, right? And if you don't align with them, it doesn't bother them. Another one, how about IKEA? They have only 6.8% of the global furniture market. So this is less than 10%. Yet, they are the world's largest and most profitable furniture chain, selling in 2017 $36.4 billion worth of goods with gross profits of $12.5 billion. Crazy, right? Not everyone wants flat pack furniture, but clearly it's the most profitable way in that industry. They are behemoths, and you're probably not aspiring to be Apple or IKEA. And profit isn't everything, but it is important to make a healthy profit. Or your business and the impact that you intend to make, it's unsustainable. You won't get to change the world. Our model takes it to another level. Our goal is to help you find that sweet spot for your brand, the ideal balance of healthy profits and impact alignment, purpose alignment, values alignment. And we want you to have enjoyment. So we look for fulfillment for you. So we take into consideration alignment and customers as well as profits. So how do you define your juicy core customers? We're going to do an exercise now. And this can be quite revealing and confronting because you may have some offerings that truthfully you need to retire. either because they're eating away at your profits or because they're misaligned with your brand and where you want to take your brand. So the first step is to review your books for the recent year or deeper if you want to. Make a list of all the individual revenue generating activities. And really, that's all your products or services. And your organization may offer the same thing to different markets or different types for different costs, with different costs because of different marketing methods. And if you do, then treat them as different activities and list them separately. Create a spreadsheet or a document and put them in there because you're going to add 3 different scores to them. If you don't have a history to work from because you're a new business, follow these steps because you're going to have an idea of what you want to offer and you will have a basis here then to judge them on later. Step 2, for each of these income generating activities, you're going to assign a value from -5 to 5 based on how profitable or costly they are for your organization. We're talking profits here, not revenue. Revenue can be a vanity metric. All right? So here we're talking about profits, which refers to revenue minus all of your costs, including acquisition, production, any fees, delivery, servicing, support, or whatever it is for your organization. Consider each revenue generating activity independently and score them accordingly. Some offerings are going to be negative, meaning they actually cost you money for any of those reasons. High acquisition cost, high servicing cost, high production costs, one-time sales, whatever it might be. Be brutally honest here. This is your opportunity to take stock properly. Step 3 is where we look at alignment. Now, for each of these, you're going to assign a value from -5 to 5 based on how misaligned or aligned they are for your organization. We're talking here about alignment with your purpose, with your impact model, or your values. So I want you to think about these things. How do you and your team feel about this particular offering? Fulfilled? Energized? Does it sit right? Does it take you towards your purpose or in another direction? Some streams, some of these income generating activities are going to be negative, meaning they're misaligned. And this could be because your business, your brand has evolved as an organization. It could be a change in direction. It could be an old offering, which is hard and difficult to do, just not aligned anymore. Could be many reasons. Again, be brutally honest here and score it. The third score, we look at customer. Now, for each of these, you want to assign a value again from -5 to 5 based on customer appreciation and attitude, because your customers can and will differ between these income generating activities. Think about how your customers respond to this offering. Are they a pleasure or a pain? Do they appreciate you or are they ungrateful? How are you and your team treated by this customer group? Do they try and pressure you to discount the price unfairly, or they happily pay what you ask? So all of those things add up. Some customers are painful and others are pleasurable, and that's what we want. Again, be brutally honest here. This is the final score. Now, once you have these scores, it's time to map these into a spreadsheet and generate a waterfall chart. In our program, we have a tool that you can use. Right now, you're going to have to build one yourself. What you're looking for is you want to see those income generating activities with positive values across the 3 columns. These, like these ones circled here as an example, are the activities that are the most profitable and truly align with your purpose, your impact model, and your values, as well as having great customers. With this chart done, all you need to do is work out who the customers are that are in these standout streams, and then set your mind to getting more of them. This is what our spreadsheet looks like, and you can see that bottom column there, clearly titled Your Juicy Core Customers in the peak. So this question comes up when we do this exercise. What do you do with the negatives that you find? Well, my recommendation is you really reconsider that income generating stream, that activity that's creating those big dips. Brainstorm with your team what can be done, if there can be anything done to turn them around or phase them out. At the very least, I recommend that you cease marketing to that product and focus, or that customer group, and focus on your juicy core customers. Which leads us to the next step. What do you do with the information that you've got now? Well, you know who they are, you know what they buy, and you know that they're good for you. So the next step is to go deeper and build your buyer personas, which we covered in the previous Marketing Munchies, Monthly Marketing Munchies. So have a look for that one. It will revolutionize your marketing and communications. I hope if you watch that, this one helps make that one more make more sense. And what if you have multiple types? That's okay. Many businesses have different types of buyers and good ones. You just need to focus on who the primary is. Like the Pareto 80-20, you need to choose those that make up the 20%, being the absolute cream of the crop, the most rewarding. The others can be marketed to separately through standalone campaigns, landing pages, or separate marketing collateral. How else can you use this information? Well, I cannot recommend this step highly enough. Evolve or simplify your offerings to cater to your juicy core customers. In other words, do more of what you love and what these people love, and that creates real impact. This process is designed to narrow your focus on that sweet spot for your business. I hope you can see that. And then, if you haven't got this point, or market to them. This is what it's all about. You want more of these juicy core customers, more of this group of juicy core customers. That means focusing on them exclusively with your marketing. Okay, we've gone over the 20-minute mark. I can't see any questions in there yet. We'll just have a moment. If anyone does have a question they want to ask, type it in. Maybe I was super thorough and there's no need. So while we're waiting for questions come through, if anything does come through, I want to invite you to join us again next month for the Monthly Marketing Munchies. Don't know what that topic's going to be yet, but we'll work it out in the next 24 hours and put it on the website. I hope you're enjoying this initiative. If you do want to take up anything that we're doing, take a look at our impact page. You can see how we're creating impact, and you can check out our services to see how we could help you. There are no questions, so I want to thank you for attending. I hope you found value in what we presented today and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot.